Alright everyone, and welcome to my 5th episode of the 1995 PC version of Jeopardy, Jeopardy, in which right now I am up to $29,200 in just 4 games. I walked away with $9,001 in my last appearance. Let's see what happens here. And joining me via Skype is NWB1989.
Welcome to Jeopardy! Let's begin our game.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Nick. Shall we get going?
Absolutely.
Taking on Willa Bernstein and Ted Smith. Let us begin.
Hi, my name is Willa Bernstein. I'm in-house legal counsel for a computer corporation, and in my private time, I play my violin for a local symphony.
My name's Ted Smith. I'm a print journalist with a major weekly news magazine. I love my job, and I spend my spare time studying the day's events from Washington.
Well, good for you, Ted Smith. But you and Willa have some competition today. Especially when you're taking on me. I have over $29,000 in 4 appearances. Let's see if I can win more today on Jeopardy! The 1995 PC version. I'm going to wait for Willa to make a move real fast first. Okay. This'll be a second. Here we go.
Now for the Jeopardy round, in which one daily
Giants
will appear somewhere on the board.
See here, see in quotation marks, odds and ends, the 1950s, herbs and spices, and finally, awards.
Good luck.
I'm ready.
Contestant number 1, we'll start with you.
Giants for 100, please.
The answer there is...
One legend says it was his ox's footprints that formed the 10,000 lakes in Minnesota.
Contestant number 1.
Who was Paul Bunyan? Oops.
You are correct.
Giants for 200, please.
Contestant number 1.
In the heavens, Beetlejuice and Bellatrix are this giant's shoulder arms.
Contestant number 1.
Who is Atlas?
Sorry, incorrect.
No.
Anyone else? Contestant number 3.
Who is Orion?
Yes.
Of course.
That's correct. Contestant number 3.
Giants for 300. A man-eating giant or any cruel, brutal, or hideous person.
Contestant number 1.
What is a beast? No.
Incorrect.
I got it wrong.
Contestant number
Willa.
2.
What is an ogre?
You
Oh,
are
yeah.
correct. Contestant number 2.
Giants for 400. Cormoran, a Cornish giant, was felled by this famous giant killer.
Contestant number 1.
Who was David?
Sorry,
No.
that's incorrect. Contestant number 2.
Who is on the tip of my tongue?
Oh, sorry.
No.
That's not right.
So Willa will join me in the hole.
Contestant number 3.
Who is Jack? Oh yeah.
You are correct.
Jack and the Beanstalk.
Contestant number 3.
Giants for 500. His home was a mountain chain in Africa that supported the heavens. Now is the time for Who is Atlas.
Contestant number 1. You
Got
are
it.
correct.
See here for 100.
Contestant number 1.
Fear, horn, and cod are 3 of these.
Contestant number 1.
What are capes?
You are correct.
See here for 200.
Contestant number 1.
In Mexico, the 9 days before this holiday are called posadas, meaning inns.
Contestant number 1.
What is Cinco de Mayo?
Sorry,
No.
that's incorrect. Contestant number 3.
Oh, Chanukah? No.
Oh, sorry. That's not right.
Willa?
Contestant number 2.
What is Christmas? Oh, yeah.
You are correct. Contestant number 2.
See here for 300. Some fabrics do this to your body. Some people do it to old-fashioned ideas.
Contestant number 3.
What is claim? No.
No, I'm afraid that is not correct. Contestant number 2.
What is cling?
Yes, that's correct. Contestant number 2.
See here for 400. The spoon-back style of this piece of furniture was popular during the Queen Anne period.
Contestant number 1.
What is a chest?
Sorry, that's incorrect.
No.
Contestant number 2.
What is a chair? Oh.
You are correct. Contestant number 2.
See here for 500. This title character sings a Spanish song called The Seguidilla in Act 1 of a Bizet opera. I know this one. Oh!
Contestant number 2.
Willa locked me out. Carmen, yeah.
Yes,
Wasn't paying attention.
that's correct. Contestant number 2.
Odds and ends for 100. The first city to have a subway. Its system is called the Tube or the Underground.
Contestant number 1.
What is London?
Yes,
Odds and ends
that's
200.
correct. Contestant number 1. The answer there is...
This country supplied the UN with its first Secretary General.
Contestant number 2.
What is Norway?
You are
Yeah.
correct. Contestant number 2.
Odds and ends 300. World Book says you can produce this effect by shouting at a large object at least 30 feet away.
Contestant number 1.
What is the Doppler effect?
I'm sorry.
No.
That's wrong.
Oh, I think I know it now.
Contestant number 3.
What is Sonic Boom? No.
Sorry.
So Ted will join me in the hole.
Contestant number 2.
And Echo, of course.
You are correct. Contestant number
Odds
2.
and ends for 400. The Trans-Andine Railroad of South America provides service between Argentina and this country.
Contestant number 1.
What is Chile?
You are
Odds and ends
correct.
for 500.
Contestant number 1.
Adolph Sax invented the sax horn, but he's more famous for inventing this.
Contestant number 1.
What is the saxophone?
You are
Ooh,
correct.
yeah.
Contestant
The
number 1.
1950s 100. The 22nd Amendment, adopted February 26, 1951, limited presidents to this many full terms.
Contestant number 1.
What is 2?
You are
I'm out of the
correct.
hole. 1950s 200.
Contestant number 1.
This Wisconsin Republican was condemned by the Senate December 2nd, 1954.
Contestant number 3.
Who is Senator Joseph McCarthy?
Yes.
That's the one, and now Ted
That's
is out of the
correct.
hole.
Contestant number 3.
1950s for 300. Dogfights between jet fighters first occurred in the 1950s in this war.
Contestant number 1.
What is the Korean War?
Yes.
1950s for
correct.
400.
Contestant number 1.
Daily double.
Contestant number 1.
Just to play it
What
safe,
would you like
I'd like
to
to wager $50. Using his anti-polio vaccine, inoculation of school children began February 23rd, 1954 in Pittsburgh. I think I'm going to try it and say who was Jonas Salk.
You are
Dr. Jonas
correct.
Salk, yeah.
Contestant number 1.
The 1950s for 500, please. 1950, he was named the greatest horse of the first half of the century by the Associated Press.
Contestant number 2.
Willa rings in. Who is Counterpoint?
No, I'm afraid
Wrong!
not correct. Contestant number 3.
Ted rings in. Who is Man o' War? Yep.
Yes, that's correct. Contestant number 3.
Herbs and spices 100. Dijon is the main French center for making a condiment out of this plant's seeds.
Contestant number 1.
What is mustard?
Yes.
Herbs and spices
That's
for
correct.
200.
Contestant number 1.
The corns of this spice are red when picked and turn black when dried.
Contestant number 1.
What is pepper?
Yes.
Glad I rang in.
That's
Herbs and
correct.
spices 300.
Contestant number 1. Here is the clue.
The curly leaf variety of this herb is the most popular garnish in the U.S.
Contestant number 3.
What is basil?
Sorry.
Wrong!
Contestant number 2.
What is parsley? Willa got it.
Right. Contestant number 2.
Awards for 300. In 1977, Lindsay Wagner won an Emmy for playing Jamie Summers in this TV series.
Contestant number 2.
What is the Bionic Woman?
You are correct. Contestant number 2.
Awards for 400.
The answer there is
James Earl Jones won a 1969 Tony for his role as boxer Jack Jefferson in this play.
contestant number 1.
What is the Great White Hope?
You are correct.
Awards for 100.
Contestant number 1.
His Rope in the Wind album won a 1992 Grammy for Best Country Vocal Performance, male.
Contestant number 1.
Who was Garth Brooks? And I got that one right.
Yes. Select
Awards
again.
for 200.
Contestant number 1.
Sam Shepard got an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for playing Chuck Yeager in this 1983 film.
Contestant number 1.
What is The Right Stuff?
Yes.
Awards for
That's
500.
correct. Contestant number 1.
In 1951, this Pogo creator won the Reuben Award for Outstanding Cartoonist of the Year.
Contestant number 1.
Who is Walt Kelly?
Yes.
Herbs and Spices
That's
for
correct.
400.
Contestant number 1. The answer there is
Okay. Jamaica produces the finest of this root spice found in Chinese food and pumpkin pie.
contestant number 1.
What is nutmeg?
Sorry, incorrect.
No.
Anyone else? Contestant number 3.
What is ginger? Oh. There.
Correct.
Now the last clue.
Contestant number 3.
Swedes marinate salmon with the leaves of this pickle herb to make gravlax. Oh.
Contestant number 2.
What is oregano? Wrong.
Sorry, incorrect. Anyone else? Contestant number 3.
What is dill? Yep.
You are correct.
Right now I have a $50 lead over Willa. Double Jeopardy.
Now for the double Jeopardy round, with 2
The
paper
brain.
doubles somewhere on the board.
Headlines.
These categories.
Literary characters. Mother tongues. Long livers, and finally, North Dakota.
Good luck. We'll begin the game with contestant number 3.
The brain for 200.
Let's take a look at the answer.
Answer. MRI uses radio waves and magnetic fields to take pictures of the brain, and a CAT scan uses these rays.
Contestant number 1.
What are X-rays?
You are
The
correct.
brain for 400.
Contestant number 1.
If your brain produces delta waves on the EEG, you're doing this.
Contestant number 3.
What is sleeping?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct. Contestant number 3.
The brain for 600. The hypothalamus governs this brain gland that produces hormone-controlling hormones. Oh.
Contestant number 2.
What is the pituitary?
You are
Yeah.
correct. Contestant number 2,
The brain for 800.
here is the clue.
This lobe is home of speech and emotion.
Contestant number 2,
What is occipital?
sorry, incorrect.
Wrong!
Anyone else?
Ted.
Contestant number 3,
What is the frontal lobe? And that was my guess.
yes, that's correct. Contestant number 3,
The brain for 1,000. There are gaps found at the bottom of each axon, and you have billions of them.
contestant number 1,
What are neurons? No.
sorry, that's incorrect.
Shoot, I'm down to 650.
Contestant number 2,
What are synapses?
you are
Dang
correct. Contestant number 2,
Headlines for 200. February 16th, 1898. Blown Up read the headline of its fate. On its fate.
contestant number 1,
What is the USS Maine?
you are
The
correct.
Maine, yep. Headlines for 400.
Contestant number 1,
February 17th, 1923. His tomb opened, not disturbed.
contestant number 1,
Who is King Tut?
you are
Yep.
correct.
Headlines 600.
Contestant number 1, let's take a look at the answer.
May 16th, 1972. This governor shot, paralyzed in both legs, suspect seized.
Contestant number 2,
Who is George Wallace?
yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Contestant number 2,
Headlines for 800. May 3rd, 1945. This capital captured by Russians. 1 million Italy and Austria Nazis surrender.
contestant number 3,
What is Berlin?
you
Yeah.
are correct. Contestant number 3,
Headlines for 1,000. July 28th, 1980. This former world leader dies in exile.
contestant number 3,
Who is the Shah of Iran?
yes,
Yep.
that's correct. Contestant number 3,
Literary characters for 200. This Dickens character's mother is Clara. His stepfather is Mr. Murdstone.
contestant number 2,
Who is David Copperfield? And that was my guess.
you are correct. Contestant number 2,
Literary characters 400. This Belgian, known for using his little gray cells, was created by Agatha Christie. Oh.
contestant number 3,
Who is Father Brown? No.
wrong. Contestant number 2,
Who is Porter?
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, who is
Wrong.
Hercule Poirot?
Contestant number 1,
It just dawned on me now.
you are
Yes.
correct.
Literary character
Contestant
600.
number 1,
Daily Double.
the answer there is one of the 2 daily doubles.
I'd like to wager $350
Contestant number 1, what would you like to wager?
for an even $2,000 if I answer correctly. Though he loves Roxanne himself, he helps Christian de Neuvillette pursue her. I'm going to take a guess and say who was Cyrano de Bergerac.
You are
Yes.
correct.
Literary characters 800.
Contestant number 1,
He remained a private detective even after marrying a millionairess he met in The Long Goodbye.
contestant number 2,
Who is Philip Marlowe?
yes,
He's the one.
that's correct. Contestant number 2,
Literary characters 1,000. Captain Yossarian tries to outwit the army and stay alive in this novel by Joseph Heller.
contestant number 3,
What is Catch-22? And that was my guess.
you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
Contestant number 3,
Mother tongues for 200. Dialects of this language include Cypriot and Cretan.
contestant number
I'm
1,
going to say what is Greek.
you are correct.
Mother tongues for 400.
Contestant number 1,
Castilian became the leading form of this language under the influence of the King of Castile.
contestant number 2,
What is Portugal? No.
sorry, incorrect. Contestant number 1,
What is Spanish?
you are
Alright,
correct.
Mother tongues for 600.
Contestant number 1,
Breton, a Celtic language, is still spoken in this region of northwestern France? Oh, I think I know.
Contestant number 2?
What is Calais? No.
Sorry, incorrect.
I think I know, but I don't want to risk it.
Contestant number 3?
What is Brittany?
Yes.
That wasn't my guess, so
That's
it's a good thing I
correct.
didn't go for it.
Contestant number 3?
Other tongues 800. This language, not Hindi or Hindustani, is the official language of Hinduism. I'm not sure about this one. Sanskrit. Sanskrit.
Contestant number 3?
Other tongues 1,000. More than half of the people in the Philippines speak Filipino, a variation of this native language. Don't think it's Spanish, because that'd be too obvious.
Contestant number 2?
What is Tagalog?
You
Yeah.
are correct. Contestant number
Long
2?
livers for 200. Fittingly, on her 102nd birthday in July 1992, this presidential mom received 102 roses from her son Ted.
Contestant number 1?
Who was Rose Kennedy?
You are correct.
Long livers for 400, please.
Contestant number 1?
This cellist, who died in 1973, was still giving concerts at age 90. Oh.
Contestant number 2?
Who was Pablo Casals?
Yes.
That's the one.
That's
He's
correct.
the one.
Contestant number 2?
Long livers for 600. At the Oscars in 1992, special tribute was paid to this Our Gang producer who had recently turned 100.
Contestant number 1?
Who was Hal Roach?
Yes.
Long livers for
That's
800.
correct. Contestant number 1?
The other Daily Double.
It's the Daily Double.
I'd like to do 600.
Contestant number 1?
It'll get me up to 4 grand
would you
if I
like to
answer
wager?
correctly. Here's the clue. When she died in 1961 at 101, she left 2 children, 9 grandchildren, 30 great-grandchildren, and 1,500 paintings. Who was Grandma Moses?
Yes.
And I got it right.
That's
Long
correct.
livers 1,000.
Contestant number 1?
It's said that before her death at 94, this cosmetics queen conducted business meetings from her bed.
Contestant number 3?
Who is Helena Rubinstein? She's the one, yeah.
Yes. Select
One
again.
category left, which is North Dakota.
Contestant number 3?
200. The national park named for this Rough Riding president is actually 3 separate units.
Contestant number 3?
Who is Theodore Roosevelt? And that was my guess.
You are correct. Contestant number 3?
600. In 1904, this duo's exhibition built Fort Mandan in North Dakota.
Contestant number 1?
Who were Lewis and Clark?
You are
North
correct.
Dakota for 400.
Contestant number 1?
The state flag shows one of these holding a sheaf of arrows and an olive branch in its talons.
Contestant
What is
number
an
1?
eagle?
You are correct.
800.
Contestant number 1?
Between 1980 and 1991, the average size of these in the state went from 1,043 to 1,224 acres.
Contestant number 1?
What are forests? No.
Oh, sorry. That's not right.
It's not over yet.
Contestant number 2?
What are farms?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Last clue.
Contestant number 2?
Here we go. The state's largest daily newspaper is The Forum, based in this city.
Contestant number 1?
What is Bismarck?
Sorry.
No.
Contestant number 3?
Pierre? No.
Sorry.
That's South Dakota.
Contestant number 2?
Fargo, yeah, that was my guess.
You are correct. The final Jeopardy category
Organizations.
is contestant number 1. What would you like to wager?
I have a feeling that Willa and Ted might answer incorrectly. So therefore, I will wager nothing.
The final Jeopardy clue is...
And the clue is, this service organization's name comes from American Indian dialect, meaning we make ourselves known. I don't know, so I'm not going to say anything.
Contestant number 1, your final Jeopardy response was... No, I'm afraid
Kiwanis
it's not
or
correct.
International?
Let's see what contestant number 1 wagered.
Kiwanis International? I didn't wager anything, so I might still have a chance.
Your total? Contestant number 3, your final Jeopardy response was... Right. Let's see what contestant number 3 wagered.
Well, Nick, it looks like my season for this game has come to a stop.
Your total? Contestant number 2, your final Jeopardy response was... Good job. Let's see what contestant number 2 wagered.
I thought I might have had a chance, but it was not to be.
Your total?
So Willa wins, but hey.
Sorry you didn't win. Sharpen your wits and try again.
But hey, I did give it my all. $29,200. I mean, that's nothing to hang my head about, right?
Nope.
So, the next time I do Jeopardy, the 1995 PC version, it will go back to being a run. But I do want to thank Nick for being a part.
You're welcome.
We'll see y'all for our next video soon.